Hi. For all of us Americans, I'm really about to blow your mind right now. You know, we've heard all of this talk about what the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, and Elon Musk and his committee found about all of the fraud, waste, and abuse in our federal bureaucracies or in our federal agencies. I would prefer to call it fraud and corruption, because we're finding out there's not a lot of waste. The money is going somewhere, and it's going to where we really don't know yet. I'm not going to make too many assumptions. I'm going to let the Department of Justice find this out, but I want to just give you a little bit of information about Social Security. Social Security, we have in 2024, they said 340 million people in the United States, that U.S. citizens. However, we have 395 Social Security numbers. Why? Why do we have 55 million more Social Security numbers than we have people? Okay, we have to start there. And then let's just keep going. They also found out that we have 20 million people on Social Security that are over the age of 100. Although our Census Bureau shows that we only really have about 100,000 people who are really over the age of 100. Let me repeat. We have 20 million people who are receiving Social Security who are over the age of 100. Now, the question you must ask yourself is, who's getting the money? Somebody is cashing the checks. And who's sending the money? Somebody is sending money to people that are over 200 years old. We even had a person on the Social Security rolls who is 300 years old. Somebody pushed the button to tell them to pay that check. But that is just the beginning. We can go on and on and on. One of the things that DOGE did is that they took off approximately 3.2 million people off of Social Security who were over 120. That's right. They removed 3.2 million people that were over the age of 120. And then they have other millions of people who were over the age of 200. Take a look at this list. Take a look at this. And I'm going to ask you, send this video to everyone you know. If you think that we are not in trouble, if you think that Elon Musk did not do a great favor to every citizen of the United States is using their income taxes, their payroll taxes to pay for these programs, especially when they've been lying to us forever and telling us Social Security was going to go bankrupt. Social Security was never going bankrupt. They were bankrupting Social Security.
They wanted us to try to identify them in such a way that they would qualify for long-term Social Security disability. Now,
what?
Yeah. And long-term Social Security disability is for life.
Yeah.
So if they get identified and qualify for long-term Social Security disability, they are as good as set up for life for medical treatment.
That doesn't sound like a refugee to me. Just being honest.
Yeah.
That sounds like somebody who's planning on staying here.
Yeah,
a refugee
right.
stays until the problem's over and then goes home.
Well, that's right. And so they instructed us to try to identify, to try to get the client, because once they arrive here, they're now called clients. They're called
clients.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because clients pay.
Sure.
See?
Sure. I'm starting to
so,
see where this is leading.
So they told us that we needed to talk to the client and ask them if they'd had any headaches, recurring headaches, or any lower back problems. Excuse me, anything that would qualify them for Social Security long-term disability.
Take a listen to this. It is mind-boggling.
We started at the top of the system, mapping the whole system of Social Security to understand where all the fraud was. And there's a lot of great people there that showed us really a lot of waste. And so that came up with a big list of stuff that we're working on. You've heard some of that already. But this is what jumped out at us. When we saw these numbers, we were like, what is this? In 21, you see 270,000 people, goes all the way to 2.1 million in 24. These are non-citizens that are getting Social Security numbers.
Yeah, this is a mind-blowing chart.
Yeah, just this literally blew us away. Like, we went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. And this isn't political, by the way. My parents are immigrants. Yeah, this country's been great to us. My brother and sister all born in Spain. I'm pro-legal immigration. This is not political. This is not political. This is about America and the future of America. And there are a lot of good people in the system that pointed this in this direction. I want to honor them right now, that work in the government today, who took risks to show us these numbers and tell us what's going on.
Yeah.
So I want to stop for a minute. I want to honor those people today. Very good people. Very good people. I have been from D.C. to Social Security offices to the border to track this down, and very good people have helped us along the way. I want to thank them.
Yeah.
This number, what this is when you come in the country, if you're illegal, there's a couple ways to come in. You come in through a port of entry, and you can tell them you're afraid, and they'll give you an asylum case. You'll get an interview, then you get in. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to just go to the border. Literally, this happened. I talked to Border Patrol myself. Elon was there too. I went to Laredo, and I went to Bronzeville. Elon went to Eagle Pass. You walk up to a Border Patrol officer, and you tell them you want to come in. They have a couple of choices. They could charge you with a misdemeanor or a felony under 1325, or they can make it an administrative offense, like a parking ticket, basically. They were told to do that, make it an administrative offense under the last administration. And then you go walk across the border, they do what's called a release your own recognizance, and they give you an NTA, a notice to appear, which to appear at a judge. The wait times on judges are like average 6 years. Look at Grok, you'll see it on immigration judges. There's only 700 of them. This is 5.5 million people, okay? So what happens then? Once you're in the country and you got asylum through one of these pathways, and we mapped the whole thing out, you can apply for a work document. You file a 765, it's the work form. You get this form called the 766, that's the authorization, and then Social Security Administration automatically sends you in the mail your Social Security number. No interview, no ID.
This is worth just reiterating. It's not people sometimes think that under the Biden administration that he was simply asleep at the switch. He wasn't asleep,
No.
They weren't asleep at the switch. It was a massive, large-scale program to import as many illegals as possible, ultimately to change the entire voting map of the United States and disenfranchise the American people and make it a permanent, deep blue, one-party state from which there would be no escape.
Look, if I hadn't seen this myself, I'm not sure I'd have believed it. I went through it myself and mapped it, and Elon is right. This is true. The defaults in the system from Social Security to all of the benefit programs have been set to max inclusion, max pay for these people, and minimum collection. That's what's happening. We found 1.3 million of them already on Medicaid, as an example. We've gone through, on every benefit program we went through, we found groups from this particular group of people, this 5.5 million people, in those benefit programs. And then what was really, really disturbing us was why. We're asking ourselves why.
Right.
And so we actually just took a sample and looked at voter registration records. And we found people here registered to vote. In this population, yes.
And who did vote?
And we found some by sampling that actually did vote.
And the thing that gets me is how they let all of these people just retire. I would pray that by now our Department of Justice is now doing investigations in all of the people who were involved in it, the people who distributed or dispersed the funds, the people who cashed the funds, and the people who allowed it to happen. I would only pray as a U.S. taxpayer that now these people are held accountable for all of the money that they've stolen over these years from U.S. taxpayers. Please share this with everyone. Please comment and please save this video. Also visit me at Dr. Dee Curtis on YouTube. This video is there and available for anyone who does not have TikTok. Please tell them to go to Dr. Dee Curtis on YouTube and listen to this video.